All right, Matt, I've got an important question for you.
I've got a appropriate answer.
Okay. Which power tool economy did you invest in? We got
Um,
DeWalt, we
mhm.
got Milwaukee, we got Makita, we got Craftsman, we got all these big brands out there. Which one did you commit to? Because I mean, if you commit to one, you kind of have to go with that battery system for a while.
Yeah,
And like either you're investing in like two or three different battery systems just to mix brands, or you just commit. Most people commit. What did you commit to?
I'll be completely honest. These hands haven't seen a power tool ever.
Shocking,
They are
Matt.
soft. They are soft as the day they were born. I mean, they are baby smooth.
Do you see the look of shock on my face, Matt? I am just flabbergasted that you're not a power tool owner. Um, I only ask because this is so weird. It's such a weird thing to go around, but on the Arc Raiders Reddit, a fake leak
Okay.
photo dropped that showed a new backpack for an Arc, and it was
Okay.
Milwaukee Power Tools like container drawers stacked on top of each other, and it
Oh, I
looked.
saw that too. Yeah.
I thought it was real at first. And I was like, did Arc Raiders make a? Are they
A
doing a?
crossover.
Yeah, are they doing a sponsorship with Milwaukee? Because Milwaukee does have like a very kind of in your face marketing campaign, and they like try
Uh-huh.
and brand with other people. And I got quite excited for a while because I was like,
Yeah.
because I've been watching Milwaukee
I love
Power
those.
Tool videos recently, and I was like, what's happening right now? Did Arc Raiders read my mind? I was looking at their M12 system, for their tinier tools. They got a really nice battery powered torque wrench, man. Oh,
Mm,
looks
mm.
nice.
Yeah.
But I'm a Makita guy. I have been for a long time. My dad was a Makita guy, and I kind of adopted it from him. So I'm like, God, do I go Makita 18 volt and then Milwaukee 12? Like, do you do that? Chat, let us know. Let us know your power tool situation. But
This is so far out of my wheelhouse right now.
I like the power tool world because people like to get all weird about their brand loyalty too. They're like,
Mm.
oh, like Milwaukee overpriced junk. Oh, like Makita ain't what they used to be, and they get all like, you know, it's like car
Defensive about it. Yeah.
brands or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, they get all weird about
Yeah.
it. But gosh, I got so disappointed when I found out Milwaukee wasn't coming into Arc Raiders. I was like, oh man, it could have been like the one brand that made it through to the dystopian future. They're like, one power tool survived into the
Milwaukee.
apocalypse. Milwaukee. Yeah. Would have been cool. Would have been good.
Have we
Been
gotten
cool.
any new information about Arc Raiders? I feel like all these companies went on vacation and they just never came back.
We got a little. Well, okay, not info. I think the cold
Hmm.
snap event is wrapping up. They're telling people to
Yeah.
get your cold snap stuff done, which
Yeah.
I think everybody did within like the first week of it.
It took me a bit longer than that, but yeah, I've been done with that one for a while.
Yeah. You got your candleberries. You're done with candleberries. Useful for some assignments or whatnot, because it does give you double XP, but there's not as many arc, so it's semi-useful. But the CEO has been talking and doing a lot of interviews, which is cool. I think he's interested in talking about the game and getting the word out there, and everybody wants to know how the heck they made this game and what their thinking is behind it.
Yep.
It's been interesting to see them talk about. I can't remember if it was the CEO or another dev, but mentioning that Arc is they sort of doubled down on it being a PvE game with PvP as an option, which I thought was interesting. So
Did he double down on that, or is this a little bit of a game of a telephone? Because I also heard people saying that. Continue.
I
I want to see.
saw
I want
I
to see what you
saw
say.
it quoted in an article.
Okay.
So as long as
What
that
was the What
article
was the
didn't,
quote?
it was something like Arc Raiders is like a PvE, is like aimed at being a PvE experience where PvP is also an option to kind of spice it up and make it more interesting.
Okay.
But
Okay.
like they're not designing the game around like, oh, this is going to be PvP and also there's PvE stuff to make it more. You could be a PvP focused game with PvE as the like X factor, that fun little element that adds some spice. But they're saying it's the other way around, where like PvE is the main thing, and then the PvP is that little spicy factor.
That seems more reasonable. Because I think some people, correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard that he said something along the lines of, we're not going to have challenges or trials that revolve around PvP because we don't want the game to be that.
Okay.
And people took that as him implying that the game isn't PvP, right? Like it's not meant to be a PvP game. And I don't think that's what he was implying at all. I think he doesn't want the game to revolve around those kinds of challenges because then it would take away the magic of the game, which is it's a mix of the two, right? We don't want to just turn it into a battle royale.
You having that choice as opposed to the game saying, "Hey, go kill some people," you know?
Right? Because if it's just a PvE game and that's the main focus, then they would have made a PvE game that they were talking about at the beginning. They literally shifted focus. They literally made an entire documentary series that went on a YouTube channel that went over the reasons why it's not just a PvE game, right? So it just seems like it would be a completely pivot on their part to be like, actually, no, really, this is a PvE game with slight PvP.
Although even last podcast we were saying how we would like, or I think we're in agreement that we'd like some assignments that were more PvP focused, where like especially in the trials where it's like, you know, you're just killing tons of like wasps or something. You're like, okay, go onto a night map, do the wasp thing, try and extract. It's kind of lame, you know. It's gotten pretty old. It's like it'd be fun if there was some PvP mixed in there, or you could complete it by like doing PvE as like a top thing and like PvP options as a bottom. Could be
alternatives,
whatever. Yeah.
Yep. The trial system, I think, in general, is just pretty scuffed, though. So I've lost my interest in it. Like I still kind of try for it from here and there, but I just think it's a little scuffed overall.
They did also mention that they're going to work on improving the expedition stuff, and just like
that's good.
You know, I think all of the feedback that we had from the first time around about like, you know, you're selling all your good gear as opposed to using it, which you're like, this is completely counter the way that it should be. I think they got that messaging. It seems that they're probably not ready to employ those changes for this next trial, but because
probably one after that.
Yeah, people have already completed it, I think.
Right.
So yeah, maybe the next one we'll start to see some improvements there. They also said that out of the 12, so they've sold 12 million copies, and I guess the trial probably happened before they hit that figure. Maybe they're at 11 or 10 whenever the
12
expedition.
million copies.
It's a good amount, man. They're doing very well.
So 40 times 12 million, that is almost $500 million. Now, granted, a lot of that, you know, 30% of that goes to Steam and stuff, but they're doing pretty well.
Steam and Sony and Microsoft.
Yeah. But you know, still, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of dollary dues.
A lot of cheddar. Hopefully, it seems I'm guessing more than covered their production costs for the game, especially since they really aimed
for a while. I would imagine.
Well, especially since their company philosophy is aimed at making things as efficient as possible and not bloating production unnecessarily. So they said 1 million players participated in the expedition. So whether or not that means they participated because they had put enough time into it or because they chose to versus choosing not to is not super clear. But based on the feedback, it just seems like a lot of people didn't have the amount of time or weren't able to put as much time into getting ready for the expedition.
It was pretty quick, the first one.
Yeah. And especially the first time around when you're learning the game still and then trying to do all of it. You're like, where the heck do I get arrested gear from? You know? And you're like, working on that one for like 3 weeks. Now, not that it's fast now, but you at least kind of have a better idea. You're like, oh, I better keep this one, you know, when you find it.
Yeah.
Although I think
if I need something, I know where to go to get it for the most part now.
Yep.
Especially if it's a crafting material. I'm like, I need batteries. Well, I know where batteries go. I need... Yep.
Bro, I know where you can get a light bulb every single time. Every time.
I didn't know that.
There's a guaranteed light bulb spawn in the game, and it is a lifesaver. Let me tell you that.
Oh, lightsaver.
Yeah. Well, they should be adding those to the game soon, too. That'd be amazing, dude. So other than that, not too much new info on Ark. There were some interesting accusations against streamer NickMercs. Am I saying his name right? Is that him?
NickMercs, yeah.
Yeah. basically he was just playing, and there was
I saw the video.
You saw the video. It's I looked into it a little bit closer, and it seems like there could actually be some difference on how powerful aim assist is when you're using a controller on PC versus on console. And this is pretty common in
because I know
game.
some people are like, I play with controller, and my aim assist isn't that. It was very snappy.
Super
it literally
snappy.
Looked like he was. It literally looked like he was having to like rip it off of what it was locked onto and then have it lock onto something else. I was like, that is
not
wild.
only that, but when it locked on, it would be like, shoot the like unarmored engine or whatever, and you're like, what? Like it can go for the weak spot too? Like, come on, man. So I saw a guy demo this on PC. He's like, I play a keyboard and mouse, but look, I'm going to plug in my PlayStation controller and check this out. And it was crazy snappy. Like he was letting go of the input, and it was like just following the robot around. And people are saying, and this is a common thing in games. Some stuff is tied into tick rate or frame rate more than you want it to be. So the logic at the rate at which things are calculated occasionally gets tied into frame rate or something like that, where you're like, whoa, that should not be variable. And so if you're playing on, so I think I saw basically the theory was like, if you're playing on a PC that's getting say 150 FPS and a console that's getting 30 or 60 or whatever they get,
hopefully 60.
It might be snapping on stronger because that calculation's done more quickly or more frequently on one system versus another. Now, I don't know. That's just
good theory.
It's just theories, but yeah, so far it seems like PC might have way stronger aim snap when you pick up a controller. And I will say there were moments in Arc Raiders that frustrated me. I had a few moments where I was like leaping through the air and got like sniper headshotted, and the guy who killed me like had a controller, and I was like, yeah, sure you aimed for my head, bro,
did, buddy.
Yeah. You know, those moments can get frustrating when you're on PC and you're like, I gotta earn my
mouse
headshots,
and keyboard
man.
Versus controller debate that literally will never end. Like literally never end.
It'll never end. Well, and it's never going to, because you're trying to combine two entirely different input devices and make them equal. It's like it's like having a racing event where some people are using steering wheels and other people are using controllers. And you're like, okay, well, you're going to have to do a lot to make those controllers competitive with a steering wheel. So you're going to have to do a lot of extra junk. And then you're never going to have an equal system. Some things will be better. Some things will be worse. And I think it's worse when the tiny little joysticks end up being better than like a full like desktop of mouse range. You know, you're like, hang on a minute. I've been practicing a long time to dial in my aim, and you're telling me a little joystick here will just snap on. Okay. So I get the debate and stuff.
I'd be surprised if he was cheating though, because I know a lot of people
I don't think he is.
Him.
I really don't think he is. I saw the comparison on somebody else on PC, and I was like, no, it looks very... Also, like, that guy's been around for a long time.
It's possible. A lot of people make these, accusations like big, streamers are cheating. It's like maybe some of the smaller ones, but if you have any audience of like a reasonable size, like why would you risk your entire, career over
almost everyone who has been cheating? Seems like they've obviously, we don't know the people we don't know, but it seems like everybody who has been cheating got caught. And it usually happened well before they got to like some sort of massive status, It's usually at the small fry level where they're like, look at this dumb streamer who turned on their cheats by accident.
If you're one of the biggest streamers in the world, because he is, like you have that many eyeballs on you at all times, like you're going to slip up and it's going to be very obvious. Like someone's going to fight, like people are going to notice.
Yeah. Your gameplay is being analyzed by thousands and thousands of people. Like, no, it's just be so dumb to do it. So I don't think
not that people have done, because there's been times when people will cheat. It's happened.
Yeah, but I agree, because this is not like he's not like trying to beat somebody in an online game. He's got a career.
It's Arc Raiders. Yeah, it's literally Arc Raiders. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Did you see? Remember how big The Division was when it first got announced and all the hype leading up to it? Of course,
closing
the controversy
blew people's minds.
Yeah. Well, I remember it had that fun trailer that was like so ahead of its time, and then the actual game was like, all right, let's dial that back a bit. But
I mean, it was dialed back, but it was still pretty. I think they're one of their biggest franchises ever at Ubisoft.
yeah.
Like it sold like hotcakes.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, there was a poster, I think it was spotted in Japan or somewhere, showing the Division Definitive Edition, which seems like it could be coming out at some point, which is...
What makes it definitive?
I don't know. This is just a poster that got seen. I guess the poster maybe wasn't supposed to be out yet, or it just got put up early. People are like, well, that's pretty much confirmation that there's a definitive version of the Division coming at some point. Which
pretty old. It's like 10 years old now, isn't it?
I know. So I'm curious what that would be then, because obviously they have the Division 2, and these are games that, run online and require server support and all that stuff. So I'm like, interesting.
Look at this. The Division 10th anniversary and Division 2 realism mode, full overview, FPS day X.
Did they announce it?
They must be. There's a video. Yeah, right now.
Okay.
I'd have to watch it. It's like 3 minutes long.
Okay. So is that recent? Did they just post that or something?
4 hours ago on Reddit.
Dang it.
15 hours ago on Ubisoft Japan.
Man, I'm slightly behind the times here. Interesting.
Unbelievable.
Okay. I know. I saw the news. I was like, oh, this will be fun to talk about. It sounds like it's a lead up to helping to spark the interest in the Division again, because they are working on the Division 3.
Yeah.
So I imagine this is part of kind of hyping up. Like last week, we were talking about them launching DLC for The Witcher 3, which would make sense to hype up The Witcher 4. Like, okay. But it is interesting that they're going for like the definitive edition, but it sounds
what a realism mode would be like. That's interesting. Because the Division is very much not realism at all. Like it does have like the aesthetic of realism with it's a gorgeous, gorgeous franchise.
Yeah.
But like, you're shooting people in the face for 5,000 bullets until they die, and then you're picking up gear with stats and stuff.
It's funny because it was like that was the biggest criticism of the game, more so than maybe a little bit of misleading with the trailer and whatnot. But it's this game that's like Tom Clancy-esque, which Tom Clancy games have always been, leaning on the more realistic side, usually. And it's got this kind of milsim-y, kind of fun, realistic sci-fi, but, a real dystopian idea. So you expect things to be more realistic in that. And then you get into it and you're like, oh, this is an RPG. I'm playing an RPG.
It's a looter shooter.
Yeah. But it's just usually RPGs don't take that aesthetic, right? They usually go for like, the Goblin Queen is attacking you or whatever. And even Destiny, kind of pushed the sci-fi genre into that in an interesting way, which I did think was interesting, and it kind of worked, but it was also like not everybody got it at first. They're like, oh, why is everything a bullet sponge? Oh, my weapons do more damage if I have a better, it was just weird.
I feel like Division 2 was able to strike a better balance, but that's what looter shooters are. Like if you don't have enemies that have decent HP, you never feel the actual progression once you get better gear, because they're, if you're one-shotting everyone with everything, then why would I need to have a beefy sniper rifle or whatnot?
I did see a post, and I'm not sure if this was specifically for this or somebody modding the Division, but it was called Realism mode, and this was recent. So maybe it is the same thing, where they're talking about one-shot headshot kills and then like a few to the body. So that would be pretty interesting if the Division went for a much more realistic approach, but it would also kind of break the entire flow of the game.
You'd have to pretty much balance it from the ground up around that idea. Yeah.
Yeah, because you'd need like more bad guys or something.
Could be fun.
Yeah. It'd be really interesting. I would love to see a game like that is even more PvE focused, that takes a like, hey, you screwed up and you peeked out of combat and now you're dead because sniper got you or whatever. Like you don't have a lot of time to correct for like big screw ups. Could be interesting. And I really like in Arc Raiders how the PvE, if you screw up, you die in it. You're like, oh yeah, whoops, I I was exposed for too long, and that bastion got me. I couldn't leap over the rock.
Bastions are deceptively lethal. You're like, I can run out the. Oh no, I can't.
Yeah, they're
dead.
so big and clunky that you're like, oh, I could make it across that, and you're like, no, they've got a reaction time of like 1 second, and then if you're not behind cover,
if they're aggroed, you're dead.
Yeah, I've died more times than I would like to admit to being careless around a bastion. Like, sure, I can do that. It's just I'm dead. Dang it.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting stuff with the Division there. I would like to see that franchise stick around, although I will say I never got into the Division 2. I was much more into the Division 1 because there's so much hype and interest in it, and I got sucked into the world like everybody else. And then Division 2 came.
The aesthetic was fantastic.
Yeah. Division 2 seemed like a pure upgrade in most ways to the Division 1, but the magic of the world, I was like, I'm not really in the mood for a spongy shooter again, you know?
Yeah.
FPS.
Well, they did tone down the sponginess in Division 2. They learned a lot of lessons from the first one, but
they did, but it was still weird. Yeah, you would still fight guys that are like, I'm the guy that's holding the flamethrower grenade launcher thing, and it's going to take you 3 minutes to kill me, you know, or whatever. You're actually going to have to just run around and keep sinking bullets in while I do my attack sequences. And I think that's so boring in an FPS style game. It works in like Souls-like games where you have moves and parries and all these abilities, but in a shooting game where you don't have as much of that, you're like, okay, we're doing attack sequences when I just essentially just get behind cover and then peek and shoot, you know? It doesn't work.
It's what makes it tough. It's why I consider a lot of first-person campaigns, FPS game campaigns, to be really boring, because how do you add more to it other than I shoot at them, I take damage, I duck behind cover, wait for my health regenerate, pop out, do the same thing, rinse and repeat the entire game. That's why Doom is fun, because they actually throw out mythical creatures at you and demons and stuff that are going to make you actually move, and you know, it's a lot more engaging than just
those are movement shooters, right? They really put a big emphasis on you jumping around and parkouring and stuff, and that makes it fun. As soon as you go tactical with boss sequences, you're like, okay, I mean, shoulder roll, I guess, you know, like how many options do you got there? Interesting, a little interesting story on Ubisoft. They shut down their Halifax studio, which I guess were known for making mobile games. Now, granted, Ubisoft has been shutting and firing people for years now. The company's not doing great, and they're kind of
not doing great.
They're batting down the hatches corporate wide. So Halifax studio got shut down, but it happened 2 weeks after the workers there voted to form a workers union, you know, to protect them. So naturally the optics it's
not great optics. Yeah.
It's not great optics. There's no proof that they shut it down because of the union. Usually when you're going to shut down a studio, it's not like a next day decision. It's usually in the works.
It's not like
a
couple of weeks later, all of a sudden you just can, shutter the company. There's a lot more involved in that. But
I'm trying to play devil's advocate here because I don't want to lead people down the wrong road with no actual evidence to suggest it. But I believe the studio is located in Canada, and the Canada government is being like, give us the information that we need so we can prove that you didn't shut down this studio to essentially bust a union. Which is interesting. The gaming world is tough because, gaming workers often get subjected to crunch time and all other kinds of working conditions, which could be hard. At the same time, making games is super expensive and often doesn't work out. So game studios that failed have to shut down. So it's like this fight between the financial side and the working side, and unions is sort of to protect the working side, and most companies don't want unions because then they historically get too big and then can be corrupt and then can kill the very things that they're trying to.
I mean, unions have their problem, but in a lot of ways, they're the only way for employees to feel like they actually have any voice and can actually get the conditions that they, that are desirable.
It's one of those interesting solutions where you're like, it's not a perfect solution, and there's many examples of it going wrong, but in these cases, people they're not forming unions because they're having a great time at the company,
right. Right.
They're forming them.
Things are going great. We can make it even better. It's like, I guess, that might be why, but I doubt it.
So, it's unfortunate. I mean, I don't think the studio is not coming back, but we'll see what happens with the investigation into why it was shut down or and whatnot. Seems like it'd be so easy to cover up those types of things, though, right? Where like you just have you converse over the phone. These companies are smart. If they think somebody's going to
be well, some people are smart, maybe.
That's true. Yeah.
Some people are also very dumb.
No, when I'm doing covert things, I like to make sure everything is sent via email or text message in very obvious language, like I hid the body in the dumpster last Friday.
You did what? Yeah. What dumpster? Where?
Yeah. My body of work, Matt. God, what did you think I meant? Okay.
My novel.
Yeah. I hear you're really, really looking forward to playing Code Violet.
Oh my God.
You pumped for that one?
What a plot-filled game full of voluptuous plot points and boobs.
Yeah. Lots of peaks and valleys, shall we say, narratively.
Yeah.
So this was what's funny about this game is it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive that just dropped recently. I know. I love it when there's like so I don't love it when there's an exclusive, but when there's an exclusive that is basically a Dino Crisis kind of remake ripoff type game with sexy chicks running around fighting dinosaurs. And then the PlayStation's like, we have to have this for us and us alone. I'm like,
us alone.
Who's making these decisions? They're like, that's the game we need an exclusive on. I think it happens when you have to find a title that's right in the middle ground of like, if it's too big and too exciting, they're not going to agree to an exclusivity deal, or it's going to cost too much to get it, right? So they can't get those titles anymore. And then if you go exclusive with like a little nothing burger indie game, nobody really cares. So you have to find like this middle ground, which I guess is
they found something.
Yeah,
it looks really rough. It's. There was apparently an interview where I don't know if it was a lead developer, I'm probably playing a game of telephone myself right now, but said something along the lines of, we won't bring this to PC because we don't want to have people mod it inappropriately or something to that effect. And I'm thinking, guys, you literally did all the work. Like, this lady that's walking around is literally in like the skimpiest bikini possible.
Like,
what do you mean?
It's so silly too. That's the most amount of work anybody could do to like see boobs on the internet. Right?
Right.
I'm going to buy this game and then either make or download a mod, make my own mod so that I can remove their clothes. It's like, just Google it, dude. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. It's also ironic to be like clutching. So my theory is that they don't actually believe this at all. They're just trying to make a headline so that people learn about the game, because we're talking about it right now, right?
Yes.
So I guess it's working to some extent.
I saw them on social media defending against these fake reviews of the game. And then people...
Fake reviews?
Yeah. Well, because they weren't fake. They were just like, oh, this is all like being blown out of proportion, and it's a bunch of like reviewers that are just jumping on the sensational bandwagon. And then
a hate bandwagon.
Yeah. And then people were posting like, it's not just the official review channels, it's also all the user scores and your Steam forums and everything. And then they like just didn't respond to that. They're like, no,
of course not.
No, it's just rage baiting media outlets. So I don't know, maybe the game's good. I did see some people speaking positively about it who I guess are kind of fans of the old school Dino Crisis and whatever, but it's got some performance, some bugs, and gameplay critiques. But Matt's going to be streaming it tonight, so if you want to catch it.
I will not be screaming. I will not be doing that, no.
Come on, man. It looks fun. I liked Dino Crisis games. They were silly. It was like Resident Evil, but with dinosaurs, sort of.
I've never played it, but I'm sure that they, have their charm. But
yeah,
the fact I don't like games that are clearly just pandering for like oogling at people. Like it's
okay.
fine.
Says the guy who played through that whatever.
All right. Okay. Stellar Blade was a masterpiece, not just because of the outfits, but because of the gameplay as well, sir.
Mm-hmm.
How dare you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll give you that one. At least
that's fair though.
It had
but this
more
one
gameplay,
just feels like that's all it's providing, right? That's like the game just seems like that's all it's going for is oogling at someone's booty.
Now, granted, that's how I viewed Stellar Blade, having not played it, because you just see the gameplay and you're like, it's just slow-mo close-ups of like bodies as they like fight alien things.
Yeah.
And you're like, the whole game is like, and then you get unlocks for skimpier and skimpier outfits, which I noticed, Matt, you got all the achievements in Stellar Blade on Steam, which I think is impressive. You know,
it's bold of you to say that because I only played on PlayStation. I didn't buy it on Steam, young man. So
another one of those
I got
exclusives.
That sucker day one.
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. You know what's not funny is the fact that this happens sometimes in the game industry where legal ownership or however contracts are written in a way can
this sounds real fun. Yeah.
Can end up screwing over what essentially is a good game or a good IP or something. But Baldur's Gate 3, Game of the Year, back in whenever it came out, 2024? Yeah, 2025? I don't know. I can't keep track.
It's like 2023 or something.
Really?
I can't remember either, though.
Okay. Anyway, huge game. Obviously, it's still one of the top sellers. I think during this Christmas season, it was like in the top 5 selling games. You're like, what is happening? That's insane.
Yeah.
Seems like an absolute shoo-in for the Switch 2, right? Because it runs on the Steam Deck. People play it on the Steam Deck. Seems to be no reason why you couldn't get it running on the Switch 2. But I believe so. Larian and Wizards of the Coast, I guess, were partnered for Baldur's Gate 3 while working on the game. So Wizards of the Coast owns something of it. I don't know how their contract works, but they parted ways, and I don't know if it was all simpatico. You know, I don't know if they're.
Don't think it was.
Yeah. And something that has to do with how things were, I think is going to prevent them from porting it to a new platform, essentially. like wasn't agreed upon.
Bad.
Whatever. But basically, in a recent interview, they indicated that their hands were tied. They would love to port it to the Switch, but their hands are tied or something like that. And people are speculating that it's because of the way that those companies separated, which is obviously it sucks for gamers and people who invested in the Switch 2 as a platform and like it and want to play a great game on it. But it's just weird that two companies that obviously want to make video games and make some money off of those video games couldn't just be like, all right, why don't we just port it to Switch 2 and update our contract, you know?
Well, the vibe I was kind of getting from Sven is that he had some issues with the upper management with these big giant companies and was, kind of taking them to task with speeches and stuff like that, basically insinuating that they're just basically being greedy and don't get out of the way. Just get out of the way of people making great games and you'll make money that way. Stop trying to be as greedy. And I think so. I don't know. I'm just reading between the lines, but it didn't seem like they had the best relationship by the end.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it could come down to that, where it's like the CEO of this company doesn't like the CEO of that company, and now they're just not going to make it out of spite. And you're like, okay, that sucks.
Well, because I think they planned on making like DLC for Baldur's Gate 3, and then they're just like, no, all right, we're out.
Yeah,
like, Oh, okay, cool.
Something went down. Fine. Yeah, and obviously DLC would have made them a ton of money because it was such a good selling game.
Oh, 100%.
You make a DLC, it's like guaranteed massive money maker. So that's a lot of cheddar to leave on the table because of a disagreement or whatever. And I think it sucks, and it really shows how just a few people at the top can ruin things for everybody else, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the worst case of this, not the worst case, but the one that I remember growing up was the Homeworld franchise, where I think it was after Homeworld 2, the studio or the IP or something was kind of like sold off, but then it ended up being owned by like 2 different major publishers. And it was just too much work for them to try and figure out how to like co-develop something, and no one studio owned all the rights to it, so they couldn't make it. That's why it took so long to make a Homeworld 3. And so like by the time they finally made one, everybody was so pumped for it. But and then it, of course, inevitably sucked.
You gotta love the legality of making games, eh?
Yeah, but you're like, why wouldn't we keep making? This is one of the most beloved sci-fi games of all time.
They don't want just some money; they want all of the money.
Yeah,
my favorite facet of capitalism. We don't want just good money. We don't want a lot of money. We want all of the money.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It seems to work better when they just license out the IP to a company to make a game, where a company's like, hey, we want to make the Expanse game, this Osiris game that they're working on, and then they license the IP as opposed to the company having to own the IP and then a studio buying the IP and having indefinite rights to it or whatever. Speaking of which, I am looking forward to that Expanse game. That's one of my top games that I'm looking forward to this year is the new Expanse game. It's funny because if
you're a little biased because you're going through the books right now or have finished the books.
Yeah. Oh, I'm 100% biased, and I'll even double down on that, saying like the actual style of game that this upcoming Expanse game is normally something I would never be interested in, which is a single player tactical shooter, as far as I can tell. Looks like you got some options there, maybe a little squad management, but other than that,
it'll be an RPG.
Yeah, but I love the Expanse story so much that I want to get it in any medium that it's coming in,
Yeah.
So that'd be cool. I'm sure a lot of the fanboys would have preferred a spaceship game, one that's more focused on spaceship, because this one's more of a third person action game. But
we'll see how the spaceship mechanic works in it. But also, like the Expanse, I haven't read the books. I've only seen the show. I plan on reading them. Is more of the characters. It's the people involved. It's not the spaceships. Like that's kind of the window dressing of like what makes it cool. But it is a very character driven drama.
Right. And I guess you just have to make the choice when converting an IP like that to a game is, do you focus on the characters or like, do you focus on the action? Because if you're going to turn, say, Game of Thrones into a video game, would you make it heavily narrative driven, or would predominantly the gameplay take place around sword fighting and battles and that kind of thing, So you just kind of have to decide, like, because obviously narrative works well in TV because that's what they got,
Well, yeah, it's all you can really do.
So yeah, but yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested in that and seeing what they do with it. What did you? I see on your some of your notes here, Matt. Did you play Shadow of War?
I did. Yeah, I beat it yesterday.
Yeah, how was it?
It was fantastic. Except for a couple caveats, but it's fantastic. Speaking of legality and things and copyright and everything like that, the Nemesis system is so charming and fun.
I just needed to make sure that this was actually Middle-earth Shadow of War, because I was like, is there a new game called Shadow of War? Or the 2017 action RPG? Is that what you would call it?
I feel like some judgment is being bestowed upon my feet right now, and I'd like to counter with, it's the new year, and there's not a lot of games that come out at the end of December and early January. Things ramp up usually around
I'm not
February,
judging.
March.
I liked the game. I enjoyed it.
So I'm like, going through my backlog of games that I haven't played and I know my chat would be interested in, and so we gave it a whirl, and I'm glad I did, because it was really good.
Yeah.
Except for a couple things we'll get to. But the biggest thing was the Nemesis system. The entire game clearly revolved around it. Yeah. There's a little bit of story here and there, like they kind of dash some story elements, but at the end of the day, it's about interacting and just absolutely decimating orcs left, right, and center, and then having them react to you in really cool, fun ways.
Yeah.
My first interaction with it is, so for those that are unaware, the Nemesis system was something that they created for those games specifically, got copyrighted or patented, and now no other game can use it.
Yeah.
Because, fun. So,
well, and also if you're behind the times or maybe forgot what Shadow of War is, It is a Lord of the Rings action adventure game, sort of third person. You run around this open world as, I forgot what your character is. Talion. And you're basically kind of fighting encampments of orcs.
It's like an Arkham game where you're pressing buttons when you need to. Yeah.
Yeah, but the world is a little more dynamic, which I think you're about to explain.
Yeah, so when the whole point is to take out captains around the map essentially, and they all have different like buffs and weaknesses and strengths and stuff, and you need to avoid their strengths while trying to capitalize on their weaknesses. But if you successfully take one out and kill them, so for example, the very first interaction I had with the nemesis is I chopped an orc in half, right? It was awesome.
Yeah,
it was great.
Cool.
He comes back. He comes back alive.
What?
And he ambushes me and he's like, bro, they rebuilt me. They made me stronger. Let's go get round 2.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm like, all right, let's go. I chop him in half again. Bro comes back a third time. I've never had that happen before.
Does he at least have stitches on his midsection or something?
His entire body was like piecemeal. Like he had like weird like armor pieces. Like, yeah, he definitely looked like he was kind of cobbled together.
They got some good medical tech, those orcs.
They do. Yeah, those orcs have some great healthcare insurance. It's actually very impressive. So that kind of just permeates throughout the game. You'll get taken out by a random soldier, especially in the harder difficulties. They'll like 2-shot you. Doesn't even like matter what they are. They'll 2-shot you, which kind of is frustrating. And then that person will get elevated to a captain. And sometimes they'll be like, oh yeah, that guy's now a legendary captain because he took you out, right? They'll level up. So when you lose in a fight, like a lot of times, most games will just be like, oh, well, I'll load it back up and I'll just try. No. There's consequences for you dying. And like it's actually a big point of you to die somewhat regularly because the world will dynamically shift and change, and they'll react to you. And that reaction is just so cool. But the sad part is that the nemesis system is patented, and other game companies just can't use that system. They could try doing something similar, but
you know what I find so weird about it is that like I understand patenting technology, right? You invent Mitimio invents the new special thing that's going to make gaming way better, and you're like, I patented it, but you can license my patent. I will make money and you will make money, and then all this cool stuff will happen. I assume they were maybe trying to go for that. They thought that this nemesis system would be so cool that every game would want a nemesis system, but there's all kinds of ways around it where you're like, we can still have a dynamic world and enemy system. We just change up a few things, and it's not the quote unquote nemesis system anymore.
Yeah.
So why would we pay you this stupid amount of money to license your dumb game idea? You know? So it's weird. I've always been against these sort of patenting of weird, nuanced software tech. Like, I think it makes sense in some ways, but other ways, I remember like Apple used to patent menu styles and stuff like that.
Nonsense.
At one point, I think they had the patent for like a drop-down menu or something like that. And you're like, you didn't even invent this. You just patented it, you idiots. Like, come on. So it's just stupid stuff like that. And this seems to fall in that same line of like, why did you guys patent? It's a cool system. I think it's sort of like it's like a dynamic world simulator, but around enemies and bad guys, right? So, and it's kind of gives you sort of a roguey-like experience where your playthrough is going to be different and all that. And it's just a cool combination of ideas and a unique concept. And did they make I think they made a sequel to Shadow of War, I believe.
So Shadow of War is the sequel. I didn't play the first one. The first one is called Shadow of Mordor, I believe.
Ah, got it.
Yep. So, but I heard the second one was basically better in every way, and I was like, well, I'll just play that because apparently the story isn't like the big draw of it.
The story was I have to kill the orc guy, or whatever.
It was fine. Like I enjoyed the story, but it wasn't anything that was like mind blowing. You need to experience it, right?
The game seems like it did really well. I'm surprised. I think it did okay. I'm not surprised that it didn't get another.
It launched poorly though. Really? Apparently it had problems at launch, and the biggest one was, and I forgot about this, but they had extensive loot box and microtransactions. There is an end game to this where
no.
you kind of play like Pokemon, where you go around collecting captains. So you basically have to dominate them, and each one of them has, like I said, different strengths and weaknesses, and then you level up them in like a fighting pit. So they go against other captains, and so you're like, and it's all to defend your keeps and stuff like that. You're basically trying to make the strongest fortification that you can, which is really cool, right? Like it gives you a ton of end game. You can really just dive into the mechanics. So there's a ton of replayability. People put hundreds of hours into it, but they had systems where you could just straight up apparently buy loot boxes to get upgrades and things like that. And this was back in 2017 where loot boxes were kind of on the tail end, right? And people were like, nope, we're done with this. And I think it crashed and burned a bit at launch because of that, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's funny because we can kind of break down games into eras of like, remember what they were doing with games back then? And this is sort of, who the heck would put microtransactions in a single player progression game like that? You know, it's just weird stuff. You usually save them MTXs for other styles of games. And they're like,
you know what other game came out in 2017?
What?
Battlefront 2.
Battlefront 2. Yeah. Right.
And that was the like the big one that caused the whole loot box system to kind of like devolve, I think. Yeah. If I was going to put it on one game, it would be Battlefront 2. So both games came out the same year. I think companies were pushing the envelope. It's like, hey, this single player game you're playing, loot boxes, eh?
Dude, I'm still so mad about how they handled the hype leading up to Battlefront 2 because I got invited to a playtest event to play the game early and record footage. The build of the game at that event had no microtransactions in it whatsoever. So as you can imagine, my impression of the game was like, dang, these graphics are amazing. You can fight as Darth Vader and Yoda and Obi-Wan and whoever the heck you want. It's super cool and I like it. Game launches, microtransactions blocking you from like just getting Yoda and stuff like that. And everybody's like, what the heck? This is terrible. I hate the guys who hyped up this game launch. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is so unfair right now. It's such BS.
It sucks. Yeah. And they did that. I'm sure they did that intentionally.
Yeah. Well, yeah, almost. I heard that some devs didn't even know that was coming, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like they really kind of kept it on the down low, and then some higher ups were like MTX everything.
Yeah. You could technically grind everything, but it was a grind to get Vader. That's where the whole we want to give you a sense of pride and accomplishment came from. It was literally that.
Yeah. You know, that game is so like I still have a love. Like I really like that game because it is so good looking. Like DICE knocked it out of the park with the visuals on that game. Like they just made it look so stinking good. And I know like one of the tech artists who works on our game always references Battlefront 2, probably because he's a Star Wars nerd, but also because he's just like, look at how they did their materials in this. Like they were so ahead of their time, and like the whole industry's learning from how they did it back then. We're copying the techniques still, and you're like, whoa, that's cool. So it really was a game ahead of its time, mired by this stupid corporate
at least with
overlords.
The visuals.
Yeah, the visuals. I thought the gameplay was fun too, but hard to take it too seriously. The one thing I didn't like about those games is that like in Battlefield games, I always do like to try and see where I can get on the scoreboard. It's like my own little competition with myself. I'm not necessarily trying to be top on the scoreboard, but I'll keep track of it and it'll tell me if I'm playing my role right. If I'm doing well, I'll at least be up there. Battlefront 2, if I want to be on that scoreboard, you got to progress to like a good hero and then just be really good with that hero most of the time. Or there's a couple of hero units that you can do work with as well, but I kind of resented that was sort of the flow of every match if you wanted to do well, because you couldn't just be like, nah, I just want to be a clone trooper this game. I don't want to be Darth Maul or whatever.
It's the weirdest contrast, because on the one hand, it's an incredibly casual game as it was designed to be. And on the other hand, it is one of the sweatiest goddamn games ever, because if you go against someone who's good with these heroes, they never die. Yeah. And they are literally just rampaging around the map, just destroying you. And you're like, I don't even know what to do at this point. Like, I'm a decent player. and they're just dunking on us.
Yeah.
Like it is bananas. And yeah, so it is the weirdest dichotomy between the two. Like it's a casual game, but then you've got just absolutely insane players never dying the entire time. Yeah.
Kind of an impossible game to balance. And remember when that same thing happened in Battlefield 1 where you would get the hero classes, and some of them, I remember Brandon, he would always do that one, not the trench raider, but that one guy who could call in artillery strikes with the flare or something.
Yeah.
He would get him every time, and he'd just be like, check out this scoreboard. Yeah, check out this scoreboard. And it would just be so insane. And we're like, you're just exploiting these OP heroes. And yeah, that's what you would do, is like, as soon as there was a little way to cheese a hero, they'd figure it out and it would just break it down. And so I feel like that formula in general, ironically, another dice game, so they tried it, but I don't think it's easy to balance. It's like super hard to balance, or you'd have to put a time limit on it.
The game doesn't need to be balanced. You want the heroes to be, powerful. You want them to be able to chop through anything, right? But it led to some problems. Not that it ruined the experience, but
I'd probably, if I was in charge of that, I probably would have put some time limits in place, and like,
oh yeah, you can only play this guy for like 5 minutes, and then after that, like it goes to someone else, big man.
So there's an incentive to like play hard with them, as opposed to be the guy like just waiting for your abilities to recharge and then coming in with everything and then running away, and you're like, okay, you're just cheesing the heck out of the system. But yeah. Battlefront 2 is still a great looking game, and it even had a single player, so it's like there is value in like.
It was pretty terrible though.
It was. Yeah.
It was bad.
Well, I mean, that's Star Wars. Oh, whoops. Steam started playing the trailer for Middle-earth. It's Star Wars is like whoever's in charge that day gets to decide on what the lore is, They're like, and then this happened. You're like, that totally goes against like the original trilogy, the Clone Wars, the blah, blah.
Well, I heard it was miserable working with Star Wars because it's not what you just described. It's more of like, they have to go through
Disney,
Lucasfilms and Disney to get anything done, and so it just takes forever to get anything actually out the door.
I remember talking to the level designer, and they were saying like, man, we just wanted people to fight in Jabba's palace, and like getting the set of Jabba's palace like approved by Disney was like so much back and forth stuff where they're like, well, technically they didn't have Solo and Carbonite at this point, and they're like, it's just a map, guys, like it's not it's semi lore appropriate, but we're also just having a ridiculous battle at Jabba's palace, like doesn't need to adhere to like the timeline, just like let us fight there. And they didn't get it, they just being weird about it.
They must have relented at some point, because like some of those game modes you can play as any character, and it's a different timeline, right? So they must have relented for some things, but I heard it was pretty miserable to try to get things through.
I would be so afraid to try and get a big IP like that, depending on who the IP holders are. You're just like, okay, we super limited ourselves creatively now. Fun, But such is.
So Shadow War, great game. Terrible parkour though. Holy.
No Assassin's Creed.
It is. No, Assassin's Creed is infinitely better, I feel, than this. Like your character, I would literally like jump onto it like I would try to just run away. He would jump onto a wall, hang on the wall. I'm like, get off the wall. He gets hit by an arrow. Get off the wall. Just jump off the wall, and he just never would jump off the wall. It was slow and clunky and awkward, and God, I love the game. Absolutely love the game. But the parkour at times, especially when you're playing on a hard difficulty where a split second can mean the difference between you dying or not. It was unfortunately a little jank at times.
Yeah. So tell me about this game, Far Far West. This is the one that I hadn't heard of.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about it either. I just played a playtest of it. Not too long, but it kind of reminds me of a little bit of Helldivers, where you go into a mission, you have some tasks that you need to do. There are side objectives where if you do a side objective, it can give you like gold. It can give you rewards, like where you can get these like Joker cards that can give you some sort of like upgrade, like where you aim down sight, you get higher rate of fire, or reduce gravity, stuff like that.
So it's co-op like Helldivers.
It's co-op. Yep, it's co-op.
And
I think you can do it solo, but I didn't do it solo.
Cartoony cowboy robot style, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very indie. I think they said that it's gonna be another 2 years of development, but I think it's coming out this year, so it'd probably be like an early access title.
So wait, what did you play? You played like an early alpha?
It's a playtest. Yeah, there's a current playtest going on right now. It may be over, but it's also has a little bit of Deep Rock Galactic vibes as well. I feel like with kind of its goofiness.
Okay, yeah.
But you go in, you have 2 spells. I think eventually you'll be able to have 3 spells when you level up to 5. You've got 2 weapons that will have different bonuses that there's little strengths and weaknesses, and you basically just shoot at hordes of skeletons and complete tasks around the map. So you know how in Helldivers you need to bring something or destroy something or what have you. It's kind of like that, but in a kind of a more goofy Western robot steampunk kind of vibe. It was cute. I had fun with it. I have a suspicion it's going to be a lot more involved with harder difficulties. I didn't play it a ton.
Okay.
But I think you're going to want to go around the map and complete challenges so that when you eventually go against the boss, you have some decent perks and stuff like that. So it had a little bit of roguelike elements too because of that. But it was fun. It was cute for the little bit that I played.
Okay. Yeah, well, I feel, and this happens all the time, as soon as there's a major hit like Helldivers 2, the whole industry goes, oh, we should make a game like that.
We could make something like that.
Indie devs too, right? Not just big AAA, but indies are like, well, we can quickly come up with something. So does this feel like sort of a response to Helldivers in a way?
I don't know if it's a response. I don't know if they were directly inspired by it, but it just kind of had a vibe of Helldivers and Deep Rock. I'm definitely being influenced by a friend who played it, and he was kind of mirroring those same sentiments. But it doesn't feel like Helldivers when you're shooting at stuff, because like Helldivers, like the biggest strength is just shooting at enemies. Just feels fantastic, and there's such a great variety of bugs and robots and stuff. But it was a fun little indie game that I'm going to keep my eye on, because if they can have enough boss variety and they can have enough unique, different objectives around the map with challenges, I think it could be a cool game to put some time into.
Okay, cool. I'll keep my eyes on it. Always a fan of indie devs and seeing what they can do with small teams and big ideas. Exciting stuff. I finally got around to seeing Tron Ares because it was free to
Your favorite actor
on Jared Leto, you mean?
Yeah, Jared Leto, the one and only.
I just like his method acting, I'm all about that. As somebody who just never breaks character. Even at the craft service table in between shots, like, hey, Jared, can I get you a sparkling water? And he's like, call me Ares. And then like cuts him with a knife or something. You're like, oh God. I mean, he's in character. He's Ares, the god of war, man. He's got to kill stuff.
Is that what his character is based off of?
Well, they keep making jokes. They're like, Ares, you mean like the god of war? And he's like, yeah, and so that's the joke, I guess.
So how was it?
It was fun. It was complete gobbledygook nonsense.
My favorite kind of content.
Which is like, fair enough. Tron is established on at least one big chunk of nonsense, but as soon as you sort of swallow the premise of ridiculousness, then at least the rest of the world has some rules to it, and you can kind of get behind the rules that they make up for this silly world. So normal Tron is fun. I loved the original Tron movie as a kid. The reboot Tron was, I didn't like it as much, but I could at least appreciate some of the aesthetics that came from it, and I actually really liked the Disney show that they made, that they thought they were going to make a big show out of it from the movie, the Tron Legacy movie. It had Elijah Wood was the main character, and it was like a really good show. I liked it a lot.
Oh.
And then it got canceled.
I didn't actually even know about that.
Yeah, they canceled it after a season because the movie, I think, didn't do that well. So, and the interest in the show was, of course,
died down.
Not huge. So
Yep.
they rebooted Tron for Tron Ares, and it had some, very fan servicey stuff. I won't ruin the film or spoil anything that wasn't shown off in the trailers, but it was one of those films where like, in like a sci-fi movie when they're like, here's this amazing technology and it can change humanity. And then they just use it in the dumbest way ever. And you're like, that could do anything. And they're like, yeah, but we're just going to make bullets with it. And you're like, yeah, but you could
make it for war.
Yeah. And you're like, you could literally like transform the entire human race overnight with this. And they're like, yeah, but what if we made a gun with it? And you're just like,
to be fair, that is how humans do like to do things.
Yeah.
They're like, we do this great big piece of technology. Yeah, we're going to somehow twist that into making it so that it will kill people.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. For anybody who likes sci-fi is going to just like be annoyed with the massive plot holes in this film.
Decisions that are made. Yeah.
And this is shown in the trailer, so I'm not really spoiling anything. And I thought it was kind of a weird premise to begin with, but I didn't hate it. The idea of like, okay, we went into the computer in the first movie. Now the computer's coming out to the real world. So they essentially just 3D print these things from the computer world with lasers, and these giant lasers just 3D print stuff. And then they go around and do stuff, but they don't explain why they can make like a light wall that's impervious to like things going through it, Oh,
as they're driving around in the real world?
Yeah. They're like, we brought it from the computer into the real world, and you're expecting them to explain why they operate on an entirely different rule of physics or like reality.
No need.
No. We printed it from the computer. That's why I can do that. Because in the computer, it made the light wall map.
Because it's just like the computer.
So when you bring it here, it can do the thing that it can do in the game. You're like, okay. Yeah, so that's never, ever addressed. Nor is how they print stuff with lasers ever addressed. They're just like...
I mean, why would you? It's essentially magic.
Yeah, you've seen a 3D printer. Why couldn't you print a laser? Also, there was some funny stuff where like... the bad guy in it, like, he'll print like a jet fighter and then it like takes off and flies away. And he's like, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, you literally printed a 3-dimensional life form like 5 minutes earlier. But the jet flying was cooler than printing life, a fully autonomous life form.
An actual person
that's
walking around.
You made a soul. But that wasn't as cool as a jet taking it. Yeah. So there's just a lot of stupid stuff like that where they're like, you're like, no, the really cool thing was when you made life out of nothing. And they're like, that's like hand waved away. And they're like, oh, did you see that cool car I made, dude? So yeah, it's just funny. There's like a lot of dumb stuff in it. And like, I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was silly. It's worth a free stream if you have a Disney Plus account.
Okay.
The soundtrack was dope. Not as good as
Legacy. How did Jared Leto do?
Well, he wasn't the soundtrack, but you mean as the
just
acting.
In general. Yeah.
Honestly, Jared Leto was fine in it. Like he was.
I think a lot of people dunk on him because he's very dunkable, but like he's had roles where he's done well. So.
Yeah, I don't like super dislike him as an actor. I sort of roll my eyes. I
think it's his personality and his persona outside that has really soured people to him. Like if he just wasn't that, I think people would be like, oh yeah, he's fine.
He seems like one of those guys that wears like a lot of like rings or something, where you're like,
I'm sure he does. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're just like, all right, what are your worldviews, dude? So excited to hear about this. Yeah, no, I think he did fine as Ares. It was just such a ludicrous story where you're just like, man, the magic of Tron is just being farmed out to whatever studio will like write something for it. So it was silliness. They had a few fun callbacks to like OG Tron stuff, but other than that, it was just kind of fan servicey and silly. But nice. Worth a watch if you got a nice sound system to listen to Trent Reznor hit you with some beats while they're 3D printing glowy people.
Men.
men.
3D printing men.
Actually,
God,
yeah, there's
the
some
implications
women.
of
They
that.
3D print some women too, Matt.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I mean,
All right.
all of a
All right,
sudden,
there you
Matt's
go.
interested.
Like I said, the implications of that would be wild.
Completely lost on everybody, by the way. It's so silly. Like the whole like, okay, this is not giving any, this is explained within the first 5 minutes. They print stuff from the machine and it can do like anything. They're doing a demonstration to like all these generals and like, buy our military tech because we can print you a whole army in like minutes, you know? And
An army? So they're printing soldiers?
Yeah, they print soldiers, tanks, airplanes, whatever you want, you know?
Right.
Just print it out. They go do all this crazy stuff. And the soldiers are like super strength. Like Jared Leto, Ares is, he's like Superman or something. It's just ridiculous. And the generals are like, oh, bravo, bravo, you know? And then they drive away and then all this stuff disintegrates. And they go, you didn't tell them that it can only live for 29 minutes or whatever. I don't know why that's the time limit, but so like that's the caveat to it. And they're like, oh, this technology is worthless because it can only live for that long. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's still incredible tech. You've made a person. Who cares if it can only live for 29 minutes? But they keep using that as this like reason why this is not ground-changing technology.
They could like, especially if they make it like a person, you know, like it could be you could make it into like a horror, psychological horror, where it's like, what does it mean to be human? You know, of like they can last is 29 minutes or whatever, and they're like, what is you know? But they like, dude, you could do so many cool things with that. But
you could make a missile. The missile doesn't need to live for 29 minutes. You know, it's just silliness,
for sure.
right?
Yeah, just print that sucker up, send it out.
Yeah, and I'm only talking about the war side of things. There's like infinite possibilities for this tech, even if it was only 29 minutes. But they keep sourcing that as like the reason why this technology is useless. I'm like, you've made anything you want. It's just got a time limit, and it's so silly. So the premise of the film is to try and make stuff last longer, and they need the source code and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So it's silliness. It's so silly. So far from like even calling it science fiction. It's too deep in the realm of science fantasy for it to be called science fiction at this point. But silliness. I also I made Natalie watch a rom-com with me. I'm the one in the relationship that's like,
you're the problem.
Like, here's the rom-com coming out. We watched People We Meet on Vacation, which
People We Meet on Vacation
is it's about as sort of middle of the road rom-com as you could get. I thought it was
very
not
soft.
Yeah, I thought it wasn't bad, but it suffers a bit from like holding on emotional, meaningful statements and then swelling the music as if we don't understand that something somebody said was supposed to have emotional impact
to it.
They're like, it's more of like one of those moments where you're like, Matt, you don't know how I feel. And then we both pause for like 5 seconds.
Dramatic effect,
and then the music swells. And you're like, just let him talk. Like, we'll get what it means. But they just do that a lot in the movie. And you're like...
It's the whole... People don't actually talk like this. The only reason why this is working is because it's a movie.
Yeah. But it was fun. It was a good little popcorn rom-com. I thought better than the standard Netflix slop that is dribbled out these days. So...
Okay. All right.
I give it a recommendation. Like, go into it knowing what you're gonna get. Silly movie, but
a little rom-com.
Yeah, it wasn't as cringe-inducing as I thought it was gonna be.
Well, good.
Yeah, decent one. How about you? Any books or?
I read like 200 pages of a book that I've already told you about. So not much.
Is this your dungeon crawling power fantasy thing?
Well, there's that, which I've also been listening to, but is the Orconomics. They're currently, I don't want to get into spoilers, but the crew is banding together to descend into a dungeon.
Yeah. Cool. I said any fantasy narrator ever.
Ever, yeah.
But yeah, that's cool, man. It's fantasy as long as it's well written and the characters are enjoyable.
I'm enjoying it.
I get it.
I'm enjoying it.
My son got into these books called Warriors.
Literally just called Warriors.
think so, unless there's like a small fine print below it where it's like Warriors, the Forgotten Legacy or something like that, you know. But it's kind of fun. I was reading some of it with him, and he's reading them all on his own, and then like I'll read a little bit with him. I'm like, oh, these are kind of fun, but it's kind of like a basic fantasy premise, but all the characters are cats. And the main
I can get down with that. I mean, my name is based off of a book series that's literally about mice, so
yeah,
I'm down.
Right. Redwall. It's like Redwall, but just about cats. Although it takes place in modern times, but so like the main character is like a house cat, and then he's like, you know, always looking out into the forest behind his house, like, I just want to be out there, you know, like that's what I want to do. And then he sort of joins up with a faction. And there's like these warring cat factions that are fighting over territory and food and stuff. And I was like, oh, like it's got some drama. It's like Game of Thrones for cats out there, you know?
Nice.
So I don't know. It's just kind of funny because he was reading it and I was like, what is this? I started reading it with him. It's like, oh, this is fun. Like just going through chapters and stuff. I'm like, you want to do one more chapter before bed? Yeah. All right, let's do another one.
Yeah.
I want to see what happens to Firepaw. You know, I want to Firepaw, and yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah. Anyway, so I've been reading that, Matt. I've been reading children's literature and enjoying it. You know, it's fun to get caught up on it because we read stuff. Do you remember Goosebumps and stuff?
I never read them though.
Okay. Yeah, we had like Goosebumps and other books of our generation that were like the big things. And it's fun to sort of see what kids are into now, you know, what they're reading, what they're into. I haven't seen any Goosebumps. I don't know if those are still around.
I'm just glad your kid's reading stuff.
I know. Yeah. Oh, dude, it's awesome, man. Like it was, even the last couple of weeks has been a change where like once he got these Warriors books, he'd like come home from school and be like, where's Jeff? Normally he's like bugging us for like food or wants to watch something. And he's like up in his room reading his book. I was like, whoa.
Nice.
So yeah, it's great, man. Kids still read books. It's important.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. So any plans for what you're playing tonight?
Not really. Like I said, there's not many games out. And I think there's like a quarantine game that released, which is like you check to see if people are zombies and then you send them to, it's like Paper Please, but
for zombies.
Yeah. So I might check that out. We'll see.
Okay. I never played Papers, Please, but I know everybody loves it.
I didn't really enjoy it though. I have a hard time. Like you got to remember all these things each day, and then they keep adding more and more that you need to remember. I'm like, I don't care.
Oh yeah. Well, also I know you don't like memory games that much, right?
Yeah, I'm not great at memory games. So
fair enough. Yeah, they're not my favorite either. Interesting. So Papers, Please with zombies. Maybe they'll have less things to remember. You know.
I think they also give you like a chart you can reference really easily. Like. If like, oh, they have their eye, like clearly their eyes are bloodshot. What does that mean? And then you can reference, you know, real fast.
Yeah. That game we were talking about last podcast, that Star Rupture, seems to be getting a lot of attention.
It's doing well. Yeah. It's doing way better than I expected, honestly, because I had fun with it, but I was like, it's very early access. Yeah. And yeah, no, it's doing all right.
Cool. It's good to see. Builder games, man. That's like
they're really
the secret
addicting.
indie economy is just like games where you build systems and stuff.
Because it's the large majority of the game is. Oh, am I crashing there?
No, I see you. You crashing?
Okay. Well, I Discord is being weird right now. So, anyways, a large majority of it is the game. A lot of the game revolves in your head, and you just thinking of like, how can I build this, and where am I going to put everything? Right? It's a very, very much a thinking man's game.
Yeah, I like those games because you stop playing and then you're still thinking about the game. You're like, oh, next time I get on, I'm going to try this. Bit. Yeah. You're like, I think I've solved my power issue. I can totally route it this way. And then, those ones are fun and dangerous and very much the reason why I avoid playing them.
Because they're so good.
Yeah.
And addicting.
Yeah, I know. Like as soon as I retire, I'm booting up Factorio and I'm going to be like, let's get into it.
Honey, I've been waiting 50 years for this.
I'll see you next month, you know? Yeah. It's going to be fun. Can't wait. Well, yeah, it's been a little bit of a slow week on the game side, but it's going to be picking up. You know, it's January.
Hopefully. Hopefully we get more announcements. The big ones I'm waiting for, Arc Raiders and Battlefield 6. Battlefield, you better have something ready, because boy, oh boy, people are not giving you the benefit of the doubt anymore, and rightfully so. I think it's fair that people are like, you just gotta be putting your A game down, and you're not.
The next DLC is going to set the tone for what people are going to expect for content.
Or at least have a goddamn roadmap of the entire year. Yeah. Be like, okay, so this next season was only going to be this, but we ramped up for the next, 2 or 3 after that, right?
Well, I've noticed, and this was the transition as soon as DICE went away from premium, where they had to sell you premium, so they gave you the roadmap for all of premium. So it's like,
because they're selling you a product.
Yeah. So here's the 5 DLCs we're going to give you, and we're going to set the tone where each DLC has 4 maps and a bunch of other stuff, but maybe not commit to every detail, but kind of give you a general idea of what they're going to be. And you go, cool, here's my money for premium. Now, once premium went away, they stopped really doing serious roadmaps.
Because they don't need to sell you a product anymore. They just need to keep you engaged.
Well, and on top of that, as soon as you do a roadmap, you have kind of in a way legally committed to something where you're now,
especially if it's a product.
Yeah. If you're selling Battlefield and you're saying Battlefield's going to get these 5 DLCs, and you don't deliver, you're now false advertising. So, that's why they don't do it, because they don't want to lock themselves into it. But it's like, you've at least committed to some content behind the scenes. Like, you can't just decide that you want to make a DLC and have it a week later. You have to have that 3, 4, 5 months ahead, whatever your production cycle is. Give us a heads up, some insight into that, At least you can give us a good 5-6 month roadmap or something like that. That shouldn't be too crazy. Not to mention BF6 sold insanely well, at which point they should have just immediately committed to a certain quantity of content. Then they could have advertised that and been like, hey, you guys buy this game, you're getting all this stuff too in the next year. Like, how exciting is that? But they didn't, because I don't know. I really don't know why big studios can't look at small studios or other people doing it right and be like, oh, maybe we should do that. They're just sort of stuck in their ways.
It'd be too easy.
Too easy, indeed. Arc has also been a little tight-lipped, but it's more on the specifics and less on the, they're like, we're going to give you some big stuff, but we're not saying anything about what it is. You're like, okay. Yeah.
I'm guessing we'll get something soon for both games, in terms of reveals. Probably this week or next week, if I had to guess.
Yep. Oh, okay. That's exciting. I'll go with your streamer intuition,
Well, just announcements, not necessarily things being released. I do think they're going to announce stuff in the coming weeks. I'm pretty convinced of it.
Okay.
But I could be wrong.
Hey, no, I'm going with your streamer intuition, man. You are.
Literally, Battlefield 6 is season 1 is ending in 2 weeks. So if they don't announce anything this week or next week, what the hell are they even doing? That would be super
weird. Yeah.
What the hell are they even doing?
And the end, and we'll see you guys. I don't know, sometime.
We'll see you in Battlefield 7, fellas. Thanks for playing.
Oh my god, yeah,
that'd be a wild announcement.
It'd be wild. The sad thing is that people would still buy BF7 if the trailer looked cool,
Well, yeah, I've gotten my money's worth out of Battlefield 6. I've enjoyed Battlefield 6.
Yeah,
I'd probably play Battlefield 7, but that would definitely be such a bad decision for them to just completely abandon the game.
True. Fun hypotheticals. I don't know if the EA deal has actually gone through yet with the
I'm sure it's still going through, regulations and stuff.
It's so funny though.
Approval process.
What approvals do you need? Like, we're selling the biggest game, one of the biggest game publishers in the US, homegrown, to a different country, and they're like, "Oh, we need to see if this is like a." I don't know what they're.
I don't know.
Over.
I have no idea.
They're gonna do it. They did the Microsoft Activision thing.
I'm sure it will go through. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so sad that none of these deals seem to get stopped. They're all just like, we got to make sure it's not anti-competitive or monopolistic or whatever. And then all the deals just go through it. And you're like, okay, how are these oversight committees working exactly?
True.
Microsoft owns everything now. All the gaming stuff now.
Yeah.
Which, a lot of big players out there right now, and we're getting less players and they're getting bigger. So not ideal. We need a shakeup, break up and a shakeup. Yeah.
Yep. Agree.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for dropping by the Level With Me podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to check out our podcast a little bit deeper and become a member, a supporter, you can check out our Patreon linked below. Patreon members get to watch us record this live and then have a little post-podcast chat session where we get into Matimio's anime figurine collection and just talk about stuff like that. It's good times. He shows them off.
It is good times.
Yeah. Up to
like a proud father.
They're like Fabergé eggs for you, man. They're like, you got 300 of them back on your shelf next to the bowls, just off camera.
Just slightly off camera next to all the books.
Yeah. Hundreds of gratuitous anime figurines. It's good times. But yeah, that's what we get into. And we hope you enjoyed the podcast. We publish every Wednesday. So, set your alarm, your reminder about it. Expect it every Wednesday. And otherwise, Matt is going to leave you with some incredibly useful advice.
My incredibly useful advice this week is read a book. Just do some reading. It's good for you. Get off the goddamn internet for at least a couple of minutes and read yourself a book. Trust me, your brain will appreciate a little bit of a shutdown, especially for before bed too. Ooh wee.
Yeah, that is fantastic advice. Like all like sleep advice is like, don't use screens like an hour before bed. Like get rid of your screens, read a book. Social media is such trash right now. It's such trash right now.
Holy God.
It is just the worst. I don't see anything nice on there. I'm like, there's got to be good things happening in the world somewhere. No. They're like, nah, just focus on the bad stuff. You're just like, all right. And then you get sucked into it. You're like, this can't be true. And then you read more and you're like, oh, it's not true. What the heck am I even doing on the internet right now? I just spent 5 minutes reading a sensational thing and then find out it's not true. So that's just like 10 minutes of me going, what the heck is happening? Oh, it's not true. That was 10 minutes.
Just read a book.
Yeah.
Just step away from the internet for a little while. You can come back to it. Yep. It'll still be there. But man.
Good book. Yeah. Get a good book. Get a classic. Get something that like everybody's read, but you haven't, get on that. Something decent.
Like Red Rising. Yeah.
Red Rising. That's a fun one, man. That's a good one to get set. It's such an easy read. Such an easy read, man.
It is, yeah.
First $3 anyway. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Peace out.
Take care.